offshore energy is the way to go. First, I'll talk about renewables in general. We appreciate this generous grant for 20,000 megawatts of renewable energy, and we are here to tell you that it is extremely possible for Oregon to meet this, even using just offshore resources that don't disrupt our beautiful homeland. I will start by telling you about the wonders of renewable energy. Then Alex will continue to explain the horrors of certain wind energy and hydropower, and Sally will conclude with proposing our offshore renewable plan. According to the EIA, in 2017, 76% of Oregon's utility-scale net electricity generation came from conventional hydroelectric power plants and other renewable energy resources. We'll get to hydro later, but it's not an ideal nor sustainable resource to rely on. After hydroelectric, our second greatest energy consumption is natural gas. Natural gas might be seen as the future or a clean energy source, but in reality it's not. Natural gas usually entails fracking, which messes with groundwater and in some cases can even trigger tectonic activity. Natural gas also leaks. Natural gas leaks account for a large percentage of greenhouse gas emissions related to this energy source. Oregon is a leader in the U.S. for hydropower, but all of the U.S. and world is lacking when it comes to true renewables that have low environmental impacts and high efficient energy production.
Wind energy on land is bad. Oregon knows this. We're doing the right thing by not implementing a ton of onshore wind farms. Good job, Oregon. Wind turbines interfere with aviation radar. With such large metropolitan areas, we cannot have interference like this. What about our precious wildlife? Birds, and even more, bats, are killed by wind turbines. Yes, they only rotate at 17 RPMs, but still, this is deadly. We can't have them killing our wildlife. Renewable energy is supposed to be friendly to all. There is a very real possibility that with increased onshore wind farm construction and wind implementation, that we will see a sharp increase in dead birds. This insurgence of death and decay will spur the deadly H10N20 virus, sheep zombification. Hydro energy, something that Oregon heavily uses now, isn't a good focus to have. Hydro doesn't even count as renewable. We can do better. In addition, we want to have our offshore energy producing facilities be closer to the California border because we can make more money selling renewable energy to California as opposed to Oregon. California pays almost 80% more than Oregon for electricity. California also produced State Legislation Bill 350, which demands for 50% of its renewable energy sources to come from renewable sources. Again, hydro is something we're already using that has negative impacts on the environment. Salmon populations and spawning habitats are disrupted by dams and by flooding, and wetlands are also destroyed. This increases potential for urban floods. Overall, hydropower disrupts ecosystems, and obviously, burning fossil fuels and releasing gases is putting our climate system out of whack. Don't you fret. We have a much better solution for you.
Here's the solution. Offshore wind and wave energy devices are the future of power for Oregon. They won't disrupt the beautiful, mountainous views of our wonderful state. Hearing this, the public can't be happier. Offshore wind is a great solution due to its higher reliability than onshore wind. Also, less bird and bat traffic will keep our wildlife conservationists and sympathizers happy. Offshore wind, and only a 12 by 12 kilometer array, for example, can get up to 5,800 megawatts of energy, after accounting for wind's 44% capacity and inconsistency. This would require only 1,700 turbines for the whole state. To put this into perspective, Texas has the Horse Hollow Energy Center that houses 421 turbines just for their state. This offshore wind farm for Oregon would model, but magnify, the UK's Walney Extension offshore wind farm in the Irish Sea. Offshore wind would require onshore batteries to store energy for off periods without wind, but these are very doable. We can look to Tesla's 100 megawatt battery they recently created a couple years ago. The main source of Oregon's renewable energy in our plan would be an array of wave energy devices, or sea snakes. We would replicate and again extremely magnify the Palamas array off the coast of Portugal. Portugal uses 7 tubes to generate 5.25 megawatts of energy. Considering the similarities of wave power density on each coast, Oregon and Portugal, it would be plausible to just magnify this array to scale. So, Oregon could potentially invest heavily in sea snakes. Wave energy is consistent, doesn't require storage due to its consistency, and is very scalable given Oregon's vast 580-kilometer coastline. So, we could match the rest of this 20,000 megawatt plan using only these sea snakes. Hell, we could even do all the 20,000 megawatts with these. But with the offshore wind as well, we could use just 38 kilometers squared and 19,000 sea snakes to reach the rest of our needed 20,000 megawatts of energy for Oregon. This map shows potential placement for the offshore wind farm, 25 by 115 kilometers, and 2 possible placements for the sea snake array. One of them closer to the metropolitan areas in northern Oregon, and one of them away from the views of annoying tourists. Please consider our proposal. Oregon would benefit with public image, benefit economically, potentially, and be contributing to the bettering of our planet with this plan.